Okay, so I've got a camera over here that I'm recording B-roll, and I've got here. So now let me share my screen because we are going to just get started. And every once in a while, I will look to the side to see if there's any comments. If you have any questions as I'm going along, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and I will get to them at the end of the webinar if there are any there. Share that. All right. So let's see. Are we sharing? Are we sharing? Can you see my screen yet? You might. There's a delay here. Okay. All right. So how to choose the right topic for your book. This is the first in my new webinar series for entrepreneur authors. I decided to start off weekly until the end of the year. I will not be holding one on Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I will be stopping on December 17th. If you guys enjoy this, please like it, comment, let me know, because if you like this series, I will continue to do the series next year, but on a monthly basis. Fair? Fair? Let's go. All right. So in the next 30 to 60 minutes, if you were here earlier, you caught the earlier, you would realize that I always seem to think it's going to take 60 minutes and then it takes 30. So apparently I talk fast, or maybe it's because I usually do these without anybody online. Who knows? We'll see. So it's approximately 36 minutes. You're going to learn how to select the best topics for your books so that you can use them to market your business and enhance your authority so that you finally attract clients with your book. How cool is that? I think that's very cool. So this webinar is for you if you are frustrated with your lack of progress in writing your book. If you have failed at achieving your goal of writing a book this year, 2022, and are ashamed of yourself for the lack of commitment or tenacity. And this webinar is for you if you routinely use writing prompts and done for you book outlines and then hate yourself for it because they never quite result in anything that you are proud of. Because you want to be proud of your book, right? Now, who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I am the creator of the world's first author diagnostic software. I'm the author of 5 books that I wrote by myself, and 2 of them became bestsellers, and 1 of them won 3 awards. I'm also a contributor to numerous other anthologies, many of which became international best-selling books. I'm also certified in the Story Way method, which is a way of interviewing people so that it pulls out their wisdom and their life so that they can write a wonderful book based on the knowledge between their ears and their heart and their life. I'm also certified in author marketing. And now what I like about myself most is I'm a total geek for sci-fi and for marketing. So here I shared some of my geeky side here. The first picture is of me. Okay, so the UK recently came out with a series of stamps based on the classic science fiction novels. And I was like, oh, I got to get my hands on these. Well, it just so happens that my husband has a friend in the UK. So we asked him, can you buy them and send it to me? And he sent me, I just thought I was going to get the stamps. He got me this collector's set. Oh, it was awesome. I'm so excited. I mean, they're really lovely stamps. Anyway, because I'm a stamp collector too. I'm a stamp collector and a sci-fi. I geek in a lot of different ways. I'm a multifaceted geek. The second picture is me with, oh my gosh, I just suddenly forgot. She is June Lockhart, Anne Lockhart, June Lockhart's daughter. Now, you may be more familiar with June than you are with Anne. June was the mother in Lost in Space. She was also the mother in Lassie. Anne Lockhart, who is almost a spitting image of her mother, was in Battlestar Galactica, the one in the 70s. So I got my picture with her when I went to a Doctor Who convention. And then the next 2 pictures kind of show my geek side. The first one is at an event by Danny Inney. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He teaches how to do your business, but he also focuses right now, at least he's focusing on how to develop courses. Great information, highly recommend him. And I just liked his definition of marketing here, an accelerated version of the experiences that led you to believe in your offer, which I thought that's a pretty cool definition of what marketing is. And then there's an example of me, like I pulled together all the stuff for my book, Public Speaking Superpowers. And I went all in on the superhero theme. Again, that pulls my geek for sci-fi in with my geek for marketing. There you go. So enough about me. Now we're going to go into the content. I hope you can't hear that phone in the background. Sorry about that. By the end of this webinar, you're going to have learned 3 things. 1, you're going to learn a 3-step process for selecting the right topics for books that will showcase your authority and attract readers who are ideal clients. 2, you're going to learn the 1 step that you can take to boost your confidence in your idea. And 3, my top 4 tips, or 4 top tips, for increasing your chances of becoming a best-selling author. So now let's address the most insidious myth of writing a book that markets your business. And that's follow your passion and the money will just arrive. It's sort of the version of if you build it, they will come. And unfortunately, that's just not how it works. That's just not how it works. Your passion is important, but it's not the entire picture. So there's a law of attraction, which says, and that's the follow your passion part. You want to think positive thoughts, but a lot of what's missing from the law of attraction, the way a lot of people follow it, is that you don't just think positive thoughts, you take action on them, because there are 2 phrases: God helps those who help themselves, and trust in Allah, but tiger camel. They both say the same thing, which is basically, yes, you want to move toward your good. You want to move towards your good, you need to take action. It's a 2-way street. And then there's the rules of business. There are things you need to do in order to grow business. So your sweet spot is the place where your passions, your business, and your ideal clients connect and overlap. That's the sweet spot. If you just follow your passion, you're missing out on the other 2. If you just follow your business, you're missing out on the other 2. And if you just follow your ideal clients, you're missing out on the other 2. So you want that sweet spot where all 3 coexist. So there are 4 things that a book needs to succeed at marketing your business. But before I share those, I want to tell you how I kind of came up with this information. And I'm calling them my happy flops. So this book, Home Sweet Homepage, which I have right here, it was a bestseller in 3 categories. But I'm not getting good reviews, although a lot of the reviews are completely off the mark, which tells me that my messaging was wrong. And honestly, the topic isn't actually in alignment with my business. And here's the background on that. My main reason for coming up with a 2nd edition, and this is a silly main reason, but my main reason was to get my former married name off the book cover. And so I thought, well, I'll just double that with a new book launch, make a 2nd edition. And I did it all wrong. I did it all wrong. And I learned lessons from that. And I'm hoping to share those lessons with my clients. Here's another one of my happy flops. Public Speaking Superpowers. This is probably the best book I've ever written. I mean, I poured 8 years of my life into this book. I interviewed nearly 100 public speakers for this book. The book has won 3 awards. It has become a bestseller in 3 categories, but it's not in alignment with where I want to go in my business. I don't know how this book fits in my business yet. I'm still trying to figure out. And so I've got this fantastic book, but it doesn't do anything but help me say I'm an award-winning author, which I guess is something, but a book can be so much more for you. So through these experiences of writing all these books and having them not quite end up being what I needed them to be, I've developed a system that gets the best book idea without falling into any of these or other potholes, so that you can write a book that attracts readers becomes a bestseller, and you enjoy writing and talking about in as little as an hour, even if you think you have nothing worth sharing, even if you think you lack creativity, and even if you're a terrible writer. Because honestly, you don't actually have to be a good writer to write a good book. I know that's weird. It is weird, but it's true. So would you like to know what that is? Would you like to know these 4 things? I'm just going to go with her answer. Yes. So there are 4 pillars that make, my little thing is, that make, okay. There are 4 pillars of a book that markets your business: purpose, passion, possibility, and then the peerless factor. And I'm going to go into each one of these individually. Okay, so the first pillar is purpose. Your book must have purpose for you and purpose for your target market. You need to know exactly what this book is going to achieve for you and what it will achieve for your readers. And hopefully those 2 purposes are in alignment, because if they aren't, you're going to have a really wonky book that's not going to go anywhere. The second pillar is passion. You need to be passionate about your topic, because if you aren't, you will self-sabotage your writing and maybe never get it done. Or like this wonderful book, you just don't care about marketing it. And so it just becomes a book that's there. And you also need to tap into some aspect of the passion of your target market. Again, the 2 need to be in alignment. Pillar number 3, this is possibility. You need to do the research you need, the due diligence that you need to do to make sure that the topic that you're talking about actually is viable. And I have a whole system for doing that I teach in my outlining program called the Book Kickstarter program. But basically, it's like you're going to Amazon, and you're going to Amazon, you're going to YouTube, you're going to Google, you're going to websites that monitor social media, and also websites that have classes. And you're trying to see, are there people out there who are, number 1, looking for information on your topic, and 2, are they spending money on it? That's what gives your book possibility. And then finally, your book needs to be peerless. And that means it needs to not be a run-of-the-mill book that's like all the other books out there. You need to bring something to that book that is unique, different, and sets it apart. And there are several ways to do that. One is to bring your geek factor into your book. That's what makes you unique. Another is to research, what are other books on this topic doing, and what are people complaining are not there, and then you put it in yours. So there's a 3-step process here for locking in these pillars. The first is to identify those problems that you love helping your clients solve. That brings in the passion piece, and it brings in the business piece, because you need it to be something that your business helps people solve problems. Well, you may solve a lot of problems for your clients, but there are some of those that you're like, oh yeah, I really love it when I do this. That's what you want to key in on. The second step is to identify, now you've got this list of problems that you love helping your clients solve. The second step is to take a look at that list and identify which of those problems occur closer to the beginning of your customer journey. And your customer journey is basically, it's not the awareness. That's not the customer journey I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you take your customers, your clients, the people you help, you take them from a before state to an after state. That's the full transformation that you offer. And what you want is you want your book, at least your first book, to focus in on the beginning. You want, and if that's not something that excites you, at least choose book topics that are the entry points into your business, because you want to attract the widest number of people who are potentially going to work with you. And the final step, the third step, is to validate your idea by discovering if people are seeking out information on the topic and paying money for this information. I can't reiterate this enough. You could write a book about left-handed underwater basket weaving, but if no one's looking on how to learn how to weave baskets underwater with their left hand, your book isn't going to sell. And if they're looking for the information, but they're never going to pay for that information, your book isn't going to sell. So you need to make sure that people are looking for the information and that they are paying for it. And there are ways you can research that online. I rattled off some earlier in this webinar: Amazon, YouTube, Google. I teach more detail of these steps. I just don't want to go into it in this webinar, because otherwise this webinar will last all day. And I want to keep it to 60 minutes or less. But validate your ideas, validate them. Now, it is possible to lock these 4 pillars down in just a few hours. Seriously, you do not have to spend days, weeks, months trying to figure out what your idea is. You can just follow these steps, and within a few hours, you're done. In fact, these people have done it. I walked Wanda Washington through this thing during a webinar, and she said that, I mean, she was so excited. She actually booked a book idea diagnostic with me. And this is what she said about that experience. Before the book idea, I didn't want to write a book. That was the furthest thing from my mind. I've been told to write down ideas, and I've been writing them down, but I didn't know why. After the book idea diagnostic, I now know why I was writing down those ideas, even though they're not in a collective place. And 2, it gave me a new hope, a new revelation, that I just need to go ahead and write the book. I've been being poked and prodded to write a book for a while now, so this was just for the confirmation to do it. My biggest benefit of this session was that it helped me to really align with and really pay attention to the steps that I needed to get to a great book. And now, Wanda, I've actually walked through the idea process and then did a diagnostic. I am looking forward to her book. It's trying to help women overcome domestic abuse, which is a topic near and dear to my heart because I am a domestic abuse survivor myself. Brooke Packard, oh, she's cool. She's cool too. I love all these people, but she helps people sleep better. And she came to my book diagnostic session because she had this big idea for like a series of books, and she just really needed to get some clarity. And so before the diagnostic, she was confused, she was doubtful, and she wasn't sure where she needed to go with the range of ideas. But going through my book diagnostic, she found the whole experience clarifying. She said, I'm able to identify where my weaknesses are and where my strengths are. And I also have a clear roadmap on how to strengthen those weaker parts. I feel much more clarity, I feel hope, and I feel raring to go on the next steps. Isn't that awesome? I think that's awesome. And then there's Chike MacArthur. Oh my gosh. Our call was after work for me in the evening, which meant it was in the middle of the night because he's in Nigeria. I was like, wow. I mean, this is a guy who's committed to what he wants to do. And his dream is to help Nigerians become better copywriters, which I think is a very worthy goal. And what he said about the book diagnostic is that before his session, his idea was really vague, but after the session, he knew he had work to do, but he thought the experience was amazing. And he says, I think people really need to experience this. And then there's Yasmin, who is a powerhouse. She is a high performance coach. That's the word I'm looking for. She's a high performance coach. And because of the session that I took her through with my book idea diagnostic, she has a better idea of what she wants to write about and how it's going to benefit her readers, so that it's not just something that's like everything else out in the marketplace and not just a generic book. So that's what that same session, I did the same session with all 4 of these people, and they all had their own personal results. So if there was a way to ensure your book idea is bestseller worthy and primed to market your business in as little as 60 minutes, would you take it? What if I told you it was free, gratis, no cost, no dinero? absolutely, positively free. I give you up to an hour of my time and I don't charge you. So knowing that, which Groot are you? Are you the I am Groot, meaning, meh, this isn't what I signed up for. I'm out of here. Or are you, I am Groot. Yippee, give me the now. I'm going to hope you're Groot number 2, and I'm going to move on. So here's what you need to do moving forward after this webinar. Develop your idea, and then schedule your book idea diagnostic. Again, it's free. So what a book idea diagnostic session does is identify where your book idea is strong. It illuminates where a book idea needs work, and it discerns if it's the right book idea for you. Again, you don't want to do what I've done and write books that don't serve you. They serve an audience, they don't serve me. And you need that alignment. And you can do this without having to guess, without having to wonder, without having to do it on your own, because I'm there for you. And we can do this in as little as 45 minutes. I found that I've done several sessions now, and they last anywhere from 45 minutes to 90 minutes. It really depends on where the discussion goes. But the actual diagnostic takes as little as 45 minutes. At the end of that diagnostic, you will know exactly where you stand with your book idea and what you can do to improve it. And that's even if you've never written a book before, even if you're not 100% sure with your idea. I mean, when Wanda came, she was like, I have a kind of idea. It doesn't matter. You just have to have like a seed of idea, and we can walk you through this. And even if, like Brooke, you have too many ideas and I'm not sure which one to go with, there goes the carrot. Now the choice is yours. You can choose door number 1, which is continue with what you've been doing and get the same results you've been getting. You can choose door number 2, go it alone. You are an island. Use the information that I've provided today in this webinar. It is good information. You can take it and run with it. Or you can choose door number 3, and honestly, all 3 of these doors are free, right? But which one will get you the best results? I'm going to say door number 3, which is schedule a free book idea diagnostic and get the expert advice, the clarity, and the direction that you deserve. You can schedule your book idea diagnostic session today by going to authorneering.com/book diagnostic. So I need to book on out of here. I hope you found value in this webinar, and I'll see you next week.